Shabbat Shalom, my friends. Welcome home to our Torah studying community. This is a very auspicious Shabbat. Why, you ask? Why? Because on Saturday, August 12th, we bless the new month of Elul, which begins this coming Thursday and Friday. And why is that such a big deal? Because Elul is the final month of the year 5783. And that means that we have only 5 weeks to go before Rosh Hashana 5784. I think that factoid alone deserves a very big wow. Let's hear it. Wow. Okay. Our Sedra is Rabbi, beginning with Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 26 and following. Interestingly, Deuteronomy is represented very heavily in the High Holy Day liturgy, both thematically and with some very familiar verses. I have set before you blessings and curses. Choose life and the renewal of the covenant. The referring to Jews as family members, the use of the term Klal Yisrael, economic justice, the Shema, a version of the Ten Commandments. We turn to Deuteronomy chapter 32 for the Torah reading immediately after Yom Kippur. Ascribe greatness to God whose works are perfect. Then in the liturgy, Rosh Hashana, you have many references to God as King, Deuteronomy. A key reference to Rosh Hashana as a day of judgment is also found in Deuteronomy chapter 11. And the understanding that when Deuteronomy speaks of Yom Teruah, what it really is speaking about the day of shofar blast, which is Rosh Hashana. In so many ways, interesting to think about it, Rosh Hashana is constructed upon the framework of Deuteronomy. So, okay, to our Sedra. Rabbi, our text commands, see, I have set before you blessing and curse. Familiar, right? Moses here sets up a future occasion for the renewal of the covenant between God and the Israelites. In fact, this is going to be the third covenant renewal. The first was between Abraham and God. The second was the people, Moses at Mount Sinai. And this renewal, which from our Sedra is supposed to take place after the people enter Canaan, the land of promise. When they enter the land, part of the people is supposed to stand on Mount Gerizim and pronounce the blessings of God. Another part of the people is supposed to stand on Mount Aval and pronounce the curses. Those two mountains, Gerizim and Aval, are currently to be found located, we believe they are, near the West Bank town of Nablus. That's where they are. A renewed covenant here means an acceptance of the impact of our actions upon our own future. The acceptance of the covenant means an acceptance of what happens through the choices we make. Part of the problem in life today still is, how do we go about making the right decisions? How do we choose life? We need guidance. We all need guidance. We always need guidance. So where do we turn? Of course, we turn to all of our sacred literature. Of course, we can turn to the rich chronicles of all of human existence for guidance. Of course, we can turn to trusted and beloved family members and friends and teachers, random rabbis. And then there are the influencers. The influencers. Professor Google defines influencers this way, and I quote, an influencer is someone who has the power to affect the purchasing decisions of others because of his or her authority, knowledge, position, or relationship with his or her audience, a following in a distinct niche with whom he or she actively engages. We should add, it's not just a matter of making purchasing decisions, but behavioral decisions as well. Do you know that in America 2023, to be a really successful influencer, you have to have at least 1 million followers? Really? 1 million. Some of the very elite influencers today claim over 150 million followers. Taylor Swift claims over 400 million followers. They will bring you to the right music, the right apparel, the right food, the right lifestyle. To find them, all you have to do is go to Instagram or TikTok, other social media. There are also, by the way, other levels of influencers. For example, within a given industry, there are influencers. And there are influencers, of course, in politics. To be blunt, influencers are everywhere, and they have great power. We give them great power. So what does this have to do with our Sedra? Listen to these words taken from Deuteronomy 13. If there appears among you a prophet or a diviner of dreams who gives you a sign saying, let us follow and worship another god, do not heed the words of that prophet or diviner of dreams. It is God alone whom you should follow, close quote. The text also ominously more than suggests what the fate of such fake influencers ought to be. Then the text adds, such influencers might even be of your own family, son, daughter, brother, and their fate should be no different than any of the other fake influencers. So influencers are not new. They have apparently always been around. We turn to them because life is complicated, even confusing. We don't always trust ourselves. That's universal. And these luminous, all-knowing individuals promise to take uncertainty out of our lives. Great. They will light our path forward without a need for us to exercise what attorneys would call due diligence. As Rabbi Shlomo Riskin has put it, this kind of practitioner is a practitioner of voodoo and of magic, and is no stranger to human history. And the more exotic these practitioners are, the more than normally human that they appear, the more glamour and certainty that they exude, the more comfortable they appear in their own highly toned skins, the greater power they seem to have over us. And this is why some rabbis in the Talmud assert that if you have to make a choice between a sage and a prophet, which one do you choose? Choose the sage. In the language of our own days, be careful, be very careful about those who would choose to make our life choices for us. Mature human beings need to understand that they and they alone are responsible for the life choices they make. Be wary of the mobs, the hordes of people, the 400 million, the screaming crowds flowing in one direction or another. Take responsibility for who you are and how you act and what a meaningful life looks to for you. Choose what music you really like or which cultural trend seems worthy, healthy for you. Truth, I have looked throughout my life for teachers who can help me understand what existence is all about. But I have never looked for anyone who could take from me the mantle of my personal responsibility to shape the person I am to be. No politician, no news interpreter, no artist, no scholar, no interior designer, no leisure time guide must ever be given the right to make me lower my own capacity to judge, to evaluate, and to choose for me. I don't need someone else to help me see who I really am, for better, for worse. So we bless the new moon now, less than 5 weeks to go, as we decide right now before Rosh Hashana Yom Kippur who we are and what it really means to be us. Have a beautiful Shabbat. See you next week. That is to say, if that's what you choose. Shabbat Shalom.